In the name of God, the gracious, the merciful, we give him praise and thanks for his mercy and his goodness to the human family. If all the trees upon the earth were pens to write with, and if all the oceans were ink, and then another 7 oceans to add to its supply, the writing would still not be enough to explain the glory of God, for he's the exalted, all-powerful, all-wise. We praise no other in our good fortune, and we confide in no other in our time of need. He is one. So this is Brother Shareef with the Hour of Power. Go to Hour of Power, Shareef Hamid on YouTube. Subscribe and share. You know the drill, so we can continue to lift the mind, body, and soul of our people. So this is Brother Shareef live and direct here in York, PA, my hometown. And we're going to give a short but a deep conversation or talk this afternoon going into the evening entitled, Be Thankful for What You Got. Be thankful for what you got. Before I get started, I want to show my thanks and gratitude for all those who have assisted and helped me and my family make this big transition from North Carolina to Pennsylvania. It's not an easy thing moving 2-3 states away with a wife and children, switching schools, looking for work, new doctors, appointments and dentists, and it's a whole lot when you move within your own town, more or less that far away. So everyone who has assisted me, you know who you are. It's not in vain. I haven't forgotten about you. And one way or another, you know, what you have done for me and my family will be repaid, whether it's monetarily, spiritually, whatever. It's not you know, unnoticed, and it certainly isn't gone with any gratitude. So salute to all those who have helped me and my family. So on that line of talking about giving thanks, I want to talk about giving thanks to the Most High. You hear people, you hear pastors and deacons and imams and different things talking about being thankful to the Most High, but I want to put a different little twist or spin on it because, again, this isn't a religious channel. It's a channel designed to bring about social awareness and change, especially in the Black and Latino community. So this is not a religious channel. Even though I'm Muslim, this is not a religious channel. Again, it's designed to bring about social change and awareness in the community. And it's a difference between religion and spirituality. To me, religion is following traditions and ways, you know, supposedly coming from the Most High, like Christians go to Bible study on Wednesdays, go to church on Sundays. Muslims have a Jummah prayer, which is a religious prayer and service on Friday. They make their 5 prayers a day and other different things. And all those things are good, but it's done more out of, you know, tradition. But people can do those things and say they're following a religion and be some of the most wicked, evil people you want to see. So that's religion. But spirituality is knowing the essence of God, being connected to God, knowing his commandments, know what he expects out of you, and then implementing those commandments and things that he wants you to do on an everyday basis and making a change within yourself and in your community. That's spirituality. So today, I want to concentrate on spirituality, knowing the essence of God, knowing what he wants of you, and then showing your thanks and gratitude to him. So just because I follow a religion, I try to be more spiritual than religious. And I don't think that I'm any better than anyone else who don't claim a religion, who don't go to a church, a mosque, or a synagogue. As long as you're connected with the Most High and trying to implement his will and make a difference in your community, you're his child. So this is more about spirituality today. So again, today's title is called Being Thankful for What You Got. Sounds simple, but I want to give a deeper meaning and perspective on it. What inspired me to bring up this topic was about a week ago. I was very ill. I was in excruciating pain because of an internal infection that I had. And if I had to rate my pain on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say I was at a 7 or 8. And this went on for a whole week because us as black men, we're stubborn a lot of times when it comes to our health. We have to stop that. So I thought that this would pass, it would go away. And finally, after about the 5th or 6th day, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to go to the emergency room. And once they did the blood work and was trying to figure out what was going on, they actually thought they was going to have to perform emergency surgery on me to get rid of this infection. But thanking God again on this topic, they didn't have to do the emergency surgery. So they gave me some antibiotics, sent me home, but I was still in excruciating pain. And then finally on like the 7th day of this, that infection kind of went away, what's alleviated that excruciating pain I was in. But I mean, it was pressure, and I was just feeling pressure and pain internally from head to toe for a week. And I said, man, what about people who are feeling pain and discomfort all the time? What about people who don't have access to health care, can't get medicine, on and on? All kind of things was going through my mind, and it just made me say, I need to be more thankful, especially for things that we take for granted every day. Not just me, but a lot of people take basic things that you have every day and we take it for granted. So that kind of prompted me and inspired me to do this short message and talk about being thankful to the Most High. So like I said, I want to give some short statistics and facts about things that we may take for granted or things that we may overlook. And this is an attempt to get us closer to the Most High. Mostly when I do talks, I like to have some kind of tangible solution to whatever I'm talking about, because we already know what the problems are. I like to have solutions, but some of the things I'm going to share with you, they're so deep and they're so pervasive that I'm gonna have to say I really don't have a direct, matter of fact, I don't have a direct solution for what I'm about to talk about. So the least I can do out this talk, if I can inspire 1 or 2 people to get closer to the Most High and increase their spirituality, maybe in turn that will help them be closer to the Most High, and then in turn the Most High be pleased and blessed with me and bless me in turn. So again, be thankful to the Most High. So I want to share some things with you, and then I'll be finished. Now, since my background is in like counseling and therapy and different things like this, I had to study, and I'm sure either this was in high school or in college. Anyone who has went to college, you had to take psychology 1-on-1, even though your major may have not been psychology. And I think they've had this course, or this, what I'm about to share with you, in high school. It's called Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs. Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs. And it's a pyramid of 5 needs in psychology by a man back in 1943 named Abraham Maslow. He wrote a paper on psychology, and he talked about these hierarchy of needs. And for a human being to be complete, these needs need to be met, and he put them in a pyramid shape, and he put them in on a certain priority and order. Those 5 hierarchy of needs are entitled self-actualization. That's at the top of the hierarchy of needs, and that's basically knowing your goals and knowing your self-worth. And having attainable goals. That's called self-actualization. That was number 1. Number 2, he said, for a human being to be complete is self-esteem. That's pretty self-explanatory. In order for you to be complete, you have to have self-esteem, self-worth, and again, connecting with the first one, know that that you have a lot of worth, and knowing how and believing in yourself. 3, love and belonging. Again, pretty self-explanatory. Having healthy relationships with family and friends, so you, again, have self-worth. That's called love and belonging. Number 4, safety. Everyone needs to be felt like they're safe in life. Physical safety and mental. So he said safety. And number 5 is physiological. And that's the one I want to touch on today. I could be here all day explaining the other 4, but the physiological part of the hierarchy of needs is the one I want to talk about. Physiological is our basic needs to get by every day. And actually, Maslow said if these needs aren't met, everything else is not going to work and it's going to fall apart. That's number 5, which is physiological. Why he put that at the bottom when he actually said if these needs aren't met, nothing else is going to work. I don't know. But physiological needs are air, water, food, sleep, clothing, shelter, and sexual instinct. So the bottom of the pyramid, which is physiological needs, he said if these needs aren't met, nothing else is going to work. Air, water, food, sleep, clothing, shelter, and sexual instinct. I just want to touch on 2 or 3 of these as it relates to what's going on in America, and then connect that to being thankful to the Most High. Being thankful to the Most High. Physiological. Now, these are some alarming statistics that's going on in America. And again, myself and many of us, many things that we take advantage of, benefit from on a daily basis, every day, every hour, every second. We take a lot of things for granted and don't even realize it, and it's not really important, or really doesn't come to our attention until we don't have it or something isn't right. So I want to touch on hunger in America. There shouldn't even be such a thing. We shouldn't even be talking about this, with America being one of the most industrialized, supposedly civilized countries on this earth. We should not be talking about no hunger issue in America, but there is one, so to speak. And I just want to share some of these alarming statistics, so again we can be thankful to the Most High. Again, not a religious talk, not a religious channel. This is more about spirituality. And again, spirituality is knowing who God is, knowing the essence of God, knowing what he expects of us, and then implementing his majesty, his wisdom that he gives us, no matter how you take it, because he's given it to us in many different ways. The principles of Ma'at, 42 principles of Ma'at that came thousands of years before any organized religion. Before Christianity, Judaism, or Islam was here, we had the 42 principles of Ma'at that came straight out of Africa. We got Christianity, and the way that disseminated laws and things expected of us through God was through the Bible. You may believe in it, you may not, but I think we can all agree it's something in there that we can learn from. Before the Christianity, we have Judaism and the Torah, Christianity and the Bible, and then the baby of all 3 of them, which I'm a part of, which I proclaim, is Islam, and that came to us through prophet and the Holy Quran. So we got Moses in the Torah, Jesus in the Gospel, and Muhammad in the Quran. And then we have, knowledge from Kemet, which is really directed and connected to the principles of Ma'at. All those principles and laws and whatever you want to call them, commandments, all of them basically say the same thing. So hunger, how is there hunger in America? So I'm going to give you some alarming statistics about this, and hopefully this brings us closer to the Most High. 1 in 6 people in America face hunger. I'm going to say that again. 1 in 6 people in America face hunger. Turn my little jazz tunes off there. The main reason for this hunger is a definition that the CDC, Center for Disease Control, and the United Food and Drug Administration, they have a definition, a different definition for hunger. It's called food insecurity. That's going to come up a couple times. Food insecurity. And they define food insecurity as a lack of access at times to enough of food for the whole household. I'm going to say that again. When it relates to hunger, the definition for that, they just don't say it's hunger. They call it food insecurity. And the definition of food insecurity is a lack of access at times for enough of food for all household members. Food insecurity. Remember that definition. Food insecurity exists in every county in America. I'm going to say that again. Food insecurity exists in every county in America. In 2013, 17.5 million households were food insecure. 49 million Americans struggle to put food on their table every day. I'm going to repeat that again. In 2013, 17.5 million households or food insecure, and 49 million Americans struggle to put food on their table every day. Give thanks to the Most High. In the U.S., hunger, listen to this. This is what really bothers me and what is very disturbing. In the U.S., hunger, which we're talking about, this is not me talking. This is not the Hour of Power talking. This isn't what I think or feel. This is their own statistics. In the U.S., hunger is not caused by a lack of food, but by persistent poverty. Again, according to CDC in the the U.S. Food and Drug Administration and other facts, the hunger is not caused by a lack of food, but it's caused by persistent poverty. So they're saying that it's enough food. Matter of fact, by my own studies, it's enough food to wrap around this world twice. You think God is going to leave us here with not enough food, and he's just going to pick one part of the earth to have plentiful food and the other part, oh, the hell with them, they're not anything? No, I'm going to repeat it for a third time. Hunger is not caused by lack of food, but it's caused by persistent poverty. More alarming statistics. 1 in 5 children in the U.S. are at risk for hunger. But once again, listen to this. Blacks and Latinos, the numbers are 1 in 3. So the general the American population, take blacks and Latinos out of it. 1 in 5 children are at risk for hunger. That's very disturbing. But since my channel is designed to lift the mind, body, and soul of our people, according to their own statistics, blacks and Latinos, 1 in 3 children are at risk for hunger. Very disturbing. More alarming statistics about hunger in children. Over 20 million children receive free or reduced lunch each school day. Over 20 million children receive free or reduced lunch every school day. I know this to be true because when I was in North Carolina, I was a counselor and a mentor in the school system, and I worked with children with behavior and mental problems, and I did groups and everything with them. So I was there all day, and I know that to be true, if not more. And a lot of times when they give these statistics, whatever statistic they give, a lot of times it's inflated or deflated by a lot. It's not accurate. It's not accurate. Over 20 million children receive free or reduced lunch every school day. Man, children was in those lunch lines first thing in the morning because a lot of them, again, don't have access to food. So they were coming to school to get something to eat. Breakfast and lunch. And then a lot of them participate in after school programs so they can get a snack because there may not be no food on that table when they get home. And if there is food on the table, what kind of food? That's a whole nother topic. 1 in 7 people are enrolled in what they call Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, better known as SNAP. 1 in 7 people are enrolled in Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, better known as SNAP, and over half of them are children. So we have a lot of children not getting proper nutrition, proper food, not getting their 3 square meals a day, probably, and if they're getting at least 2 of them, that may be at school. 40% of, listen to this, this is beyond sickening. 40% of food in America is thrown out. 40% of food in America is thrown out, or that equals up to $165 billion worth of food. The food thrown out could feed at least 25 million Americans. I'm going to repeat that again. 40% of food in America is thrown out. That equals up to $165 billion, not million, billion dollars of food. The food thrown out could feed at least 25 million Americans. Very disturbing. I'm giving thanks for being able to drink clean water. We'll talk about that. Look at all these places in America. Horses, Golden Corral, all you can eat places, and then the unlimited restaurants. Even though I don't eat at the majority of those places because I'm vegetarian for the most part, and I believe in healthy eating, and I know those places, a lot of them have very little nutritional value to them. It's a lot of junk. But you got Golden Corral, McDonald's, Wendy's, Horses, Chick-fil-A, all these different places, and they're throwing tons and tons of food away every day while people are starving out on the street. The statistic is right here. 40% of these places throw out food, and that equals up to $165 billion of food. If they wouldn't throw this food out, it could feed 25 million or more people a day. And we got people starving on the streets, and they're throwing out tons and tons of food every day. These all-you-can-eat places, Walmart, all these places that supply food, and people are starving on the street. Give thanks to the Most High. Give thanks to the Most High for everything you have, for every morsel of food that you put in your mouth, for every clean drop of water that you drink. This is what this talk is about, being thankful to the Most High for things that myself and most of us take for granted. So those are the statistics on hunger in America. There's no way anyone should be hungry in America. Now, I want to real quick talk about another. Remember, we're talking about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. He gave 5, but the basic one, he said, is physiological needs. And if those needs ain't met, food, water, clothing, shelter, sexual instinct. Let me read them off again, because I just ran that off the top of my head. I want to make sure I'm not quoting that wrong. His hierarchy of needs, our hierarchy of needs: air, water, food, sleep, clothing, shelter, and sexual instinct. Right now, we're touching on food and shelter. Now, let's get to homelessness in America. Once again, how do we have homeless people in America? Unbelievable. Listen to these statistics on homelessness in one of the most industrialized, advanced, and supposedly rich countries on this planet, but yet we have these alarming statistics on hunger. Now we're going to talk about homelessness. Statistics on homelessness. 564,708 people in the U.S. are homeless. And again, a lot of statistics is either deflated or inflated. So if they're saying 564,000 plus, it's probably closer to 1 million. 206,000 of those are actual families. Again, 564,000 plus people are in the U.S. are homeless. Out of that, 206,000 of those are whole families. So that could be mother, father, 2 children, 3 children, 4 children, or a mother with 3 or 4 children. Unbelievable. 358,000 are individuals, people living in the street, sleeping in cars, parks, tents, etc. So again, out of that 564,000, 358 of them are individuals. About 206,000 are families. These people are living in the streets, sleeping in cars, parks, tents, etc. Sad, sad, sad. You may not live on a big house on the hill and all this stuff that you see on TV, but if you got a roof on your head, over your head, and food like we talked about on your table, be thankful to the Most High. Continuing on with homelessness in America. 15% of the homeless population are chronically homeless. Chronically, here's another definition: chronically homeless. Their definition of chronically homeless is an individual with a disability. So you're homeless with a disability and has experienced being homeless for a year or longer. So their definition of someone being chronically homeless is an individual with a disability. What kind of disability? And his experience being homeless for a year or longer. You shouldn't be homeless for a minute. You shouldn't be homeless for a minute, especially not in a country like this. 47,725 of the homeless are veterans. 45% of homeless veterans are Black and Latino. When America has a code, Black people and Latino people have the flu, and especially black people. I'm going to say that again. 47,725 of the homeless are veterans. So the same people putting their life on the line supposedly to fight in World War I, World War II, all these different wars and invading other people's country, they're still putting their life on the line. 47,000 plus are veterans. How does a veteran get to be homeless? That is unreal. This country's always talking about being patriotic, but you be patriotic and then your reward is being homeless? And 45% of that 47,000 that I just mentioned, which is almost half of the homeless veterans, are black and Latino. So there we go, getting the double and the triple whammy again. When America has a cold, black and brown people have the flu. 45% of the homeless veterans are black and Latino. This comes from their own statistics, not mine. Not the hour of power, not this black stuff that people say that I talk about and other people who ring the alarm on our condition. This is their stuff. I'm just bold enough and conscious enough to ring the alarm of it, on it. 45% of homeless veterans are black and Latino. Sad, sad, sad. 550,000 single youth and young adults under 24 experience a homeless episode for longer than a week. I'm going to say that again. 550,000 single youth and young adults under 24 experience a homeless episode of longer than a week. So there we go with the youth experiencing homelessness and hunger. Very disturbing. And this is supposed to be our future. This is another alarming statistic, which I didn't know until I did the research about homelessness in America. And I'm going to make my stance on this particular issue clear. 110,000 lesbian, gay, transsexual, and queer, which stands for LGBTQ. Again, 110,000 LGBTQ youth are homeless. Families that don't accept this lifestyle often leaves this population homeless. 110,000 youth that identify themselves as LGBTQ are left homeless because their family don't accept the lifestyle. Well, let me make this clear with myself and the hour of power. I don't accept that lifestyle either. I believe a man should be with a woman and a woman should be with a man all day long, every day. But I don't think they should be mistreated. I don't think they should be abused. And I definitely don't agree with them being homeless. That's their choice. Even though I don't agree with it, it's an adult's choice. Even though I don't agree with it, you cannot replenish this earth with a woman sleeping with another woman and a man sleeping with another man. I do not agree with it in any way. But let me make it clear. I don't believe they should be mistreated, abused in any way, and they certainly, especially youth, should not be left homeless. Enough said on that, but I'm going to say it again. 110,000 LGBTQ youth are left homeless in America because families that don't accept this lifestyle, that leaves them homeless. I didn't know this. Homeless individuals are susceptible to chronic disease. That's no rocket science, like falls, anxiety, depression, and PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, which I know a lot about because of my background in counseling. And a lot of this PTSD is related to veterans. So there you have, let me see if I have anything else. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So there you have the alarming statistics on homelessness in America and hunger. Very, very alarming and disturbing. No one should be hungry in this country and no one should be homeless. Go into some of the inner cities in your city, no matter where you live, because we talked about this before. We experience the same problems that are persistent no matter where you go, no matter what inner city that you're in. It's the same stuff. Go in some of the inner cities, especially cities like Philly and Baltimore, where you have a lot of congestion in the city. It be blocks and blocks of abandoned houses. You mean to tell me the city can't come in there, revamp them houses and move homeless people in there? I mean, especially like in Baltimore and Philly, because I'm so close to both of them cities. You see blocks and blocks of abandoned houses sitting there for months and sometimes years. You mean to tell me they can't go in there and make those places soup kitchens or housing for the homeless? And we got all these alarming statistics of homeless people in America? That is sad. That is sad. And remember, with the statistic that I gave off about homelessness, it said not homelessness, but hunger. It says people in America aren't suffering from hunger because of a lack of food. They're suffering from hunger because of persistent poverty that this country could solve. They could solve this overnight, just like Minister Malcolm said. He said the problems that we are faced with, they can be solved overnight. Blocks and blocks of abandoned houses not being used. You can't put homeless people in there? Come on. And this president that we got, you think he's worried about homeless people and people suffering from hunger? He's not worried about it. So we have to band together and do for self, like the most honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us. You don't got to agree with his theology, but listen to what he taught us about doing for self. This is one of the reasons why. Because all the presidents we have, we up to 45 presidents now, in the issues that are plaguing black and brown people, it persists no matter what president that we have in there. And until we do for self, until we get rid of the self-hatred and being divisive and being destructive towards one another, these problems are not going to go away. We have to do for self and have a close connection to the Most High. Again, the title of this talk is called Be Thankful for the Most High. 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth, 2 ears, 2 hands, 10 fingers, 2 feet, 10 toes. That alone is enough to be thankful. What would you do if you only had 1 eye or 1 hand? What would you do? Most of us have those things that we enjoy life with, tasting food, seeing God's beautiful creation. But what if one of them just went away from us? How would your day go? Would you be able to make it? Would you be able to be in your right mind? That's another thing to be thankful for. It is so many things to be thankful for. Again, I'm going to say it for the 3rd time. This is not a religious channel and it's not a religious talk. It's about spirituality. And it's a difference between spirituality and religion. It's a difference. Spirituality is knowing the essence of God, knowing who God is, knowing what he expects of you, having your self-worth, having a close connection with him, and then implementing those things day in and day out on a persistent basis. That is spirituality. Religion is something we do out of ritual, but it's a lot of people who are religious and it's wicked as hell. So I don't think, even though I follow a religion, I try to act on spirituality more. So I don't think I'm better because I follow a religion and someone says, I'm just spiritual. I don't go to church. I don't go to the mosque. I just try to stay connected to the Most High. I don't think I'm better. And I don't think anyone that follows a religion is better than anyone who says they're spiritual. It's many spiritual people that are connected to the Most High than quote unquote religious people. All up in the church, clapping and all that stuff every day, and wicked as hell. Won't help anyone. In the mosque, saying Allahu Akbar and all that, and wicked as hell. Some of these people who say they're following the religion of Islam, selling pork, liquor, and alcohol and all this destructive food in black communities, and you say you're connected to the Most High, how are you spiritual? How are you religious? Because your book says not to do that. But that's a different topic, but I just wanted to throw that out there. So be connected to the Most High. Be thankful for what you got. Be thankful for what you got. Not a religious conversation, but a conversation to increase your spirituality. Be thankful for what you got. Please share this message with others so we can continue to lift the mind, body, and soul of our people. So this is Brother Shareef with the Hour of Power. Go to Hour of Power, Shareef Hamid on YouTube. Subscribe and share the channel so we can continue to lift the mind, body, and soul of our people. Look out for some of my messages coming up soon. I leave you in peace as I came. Assalamu alaikum. To my Muslim family, praise the Lord. To my Christian family, Hotep. To my Black conscious family, I praise the Lord to my Christian family. What's good to you to my people in the streets. It all means peace. I leave you in peace as I came. Assalamu alaikum.